Islanders, let's start the show today by playing a little game. I'm going to give you a number, and you're going to think about this number and tell me some things that you think of when I give you this number. Here is the number, 67. Some of you may think, oh my goodness, that's almost my age, or my parents' age, my grandparents' age, 67. Some of you think about the decade, the 60s, 1967. Was it a good year? Some of you think about cars or collectibles, something that you have and possess, you collect from the 60s. Some of you are thankful for that number of 67 because maybe it was a grade you received in high school or college, and that meant that you passed the class. You did not get that F. But none of us think about the number 67 and think about that would be the health inspection number from the CDC, grading a cruise ship on how clean the cruise ship is. It's a real story. An MSC ship was recently inspected and their score was 67. It's supposed to be 85 to even sail. We will share that story with you on the show today. We also have yet another overbooked cruise from Royal Caribbean. It seems like this happens every other day. We'll share that news story with you, and Norwegians Giving Joy. Free cruises for teachers is back this year. And one of you Islanders, at least one, will be on that ship. We're going to talk about that. We all need some time in the islands. Let's go there now on Island Time. A big happy Monday to all you Islanders. We hope your week is off to a great start. We hope you had a good weekend. We are on Island Time. My name is Derek. Let's drop our anchors and take some time to relax in the islands together. A couple pieces of housekeeping business before we get to the latest in cruising and cruise news and cruise giveaways on today's show. Two things. Number one, thank you again so much for 2 years. Over the weekend, Island Time turned 2 years old. We celebrated last night on our live show, had so much fun together. And Amanda and I have to say again, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for the blessing that you, our community, our audience, our cruise mates, our partners are. We thank you so much. We look forward to so many more memories and so much more ahead in future years. Number two, we released our tour of the Carnival Vista. It is almost a 1-hour tour that is a full walking tour of every public area. It has voiceovers. We share lots of information. You may be sailing the Vista soon. You may be considering booking the Vista soon. You may not be sailing on her at all, but you love cruise ships. Check out the tour that we released yesterday. Let us know your thoughts and if we should do the same thing on the Venetia. Let's get into cruise news. There's a lot to talk about today. This first story is not one that we want to talk about. This first story it deals with a cruise ship and a situation that none of us really want to be a part of, but it is reality, and we share cruise news and the reality, whether it's good or bad. And here is the reality. MSC, who is growing exponentially, the world's fastest growing cruise line, and is committing to all sorts of new ships and sailings and markets and new ports of call and home port destinations here in North America, had a big failure at the end of April. We shared a couple of weeks ago that the MSC Seaside was relocating to Port Canaveral. And she did just that. But when she arrived in Port Canaveral, the CDC said, surprise, we're throwing you a welcoming party. Here is your twice a year surprise health inspection. Welcome to town. And MSC, the Seaside, the crew, obviously were not ready for that inspection. These inspections take place. The U.S. CDC, yes, that agency, of course, that had some control over COVID measures. They keep up with how clean ships are. Do they grade well? They share these scores publicly. You can see them, of course, on their website. I will post the link to this evaluation and this score in the description of this video. You can go through each violation that we're going to talk about on the show today. The CDC comes on board, the MSC Seaside. They have a list of things. I mean, they are scrutiny and they go through and they score the cruise ship. The cruise ship across the industry has to receive at least an 85, a score of 85 to be operable, to sell, for the stamp of approval. Oftentimes, almost every single time, scores are well into the 90s. There's cruise ships with Celebrity and Disney and Carnival and go on that literally receive scores of 100. It happens all the time. It is very rare, very, very rare that a ship receives a score that is lower than 85. That is not the norm. Matter of fact, only 3 ships have scored below an 85 since 2017, and none with a score lower than 77. MSC, they get to Port Canaveral, they have this surprise inspection, and they say, surprise, here's what we have. We have a 67. Could this be the dirtiest cruise ship sailing on the high seas? Could it be the dirtiest cruise ship ever? Some of these violations are minute. They are small. Some of them, though, are large. We're going to share some of the larger ones with you. Again, you can go see every violation if you want to on the CDC's website in the description of this video below. But here are some of these infractions per se. And I do want to point out as well, to be fair to MSC and to the Seaside and to the crew, the Seaside has been around since 2017. She has had inspections before. Her scores prior to this were favorable. Okay, February 2019, her score was 92. February 2018, it was 94. So there's not a history of this, but this is a current picture of what the conditions were on board the MSC Seaside, April the 27th. Here's the violation. There are several instances of flies at a bar or on food or near food that the inspector saw and they wrote down. Standing water was found at several different places. That was written up. Multiple violations. There were multiple violations of dried food residue found on dishes. You walk up to the buffet, you grab a plate, and there's food stuck on there. Multiple times. There were multiple violations of wet food on clean plates and cups. So maybe in the back, they're washing the plates, the cups. They put the clean dishes that are still hot and wet to the side, but somehow wet food is still on them or gets on them, so they're not really clean. That was cited multiple times, but there were other violations as well. There were restrooms and passenger hand washing stations that had no soap. They inspect to see when you go to the bathroom and you go to get soap, is there soap in there or not? No, there wasn't. That was a violation. There were numerous hazardous food items, including uncooked chicken that wasn't cooked to the temperature it needed to be, but was being served to passengers. There were freezers or food storage areas where the temperature wasn't what the temperature should be. There was also, this was observed by an inspector, a crew member was handling raw meat, hamburger meat. Right? They're making patties, they're about to make burgers or whatever it is, and they're done with that station there. They turn and they go somewhere else. They don't wash their hands. They open a cooler or a freezer, and there's literally, the inspector said, blood on the handle of the storage, the cooler, the freezer. And then the crew member goes and serves food or goes to another station that is passenger facing and never washes his hands, never changes his gloves. Some major violations, and these are just a few of the list, I think over 30 violations that resulted in a score of 67, and people are shocked, of course. People ask the question, is MSC growing too fast? Are they paying attention to those fine details that will help them grow? Is it clean? Is it safe for me to cruise on? Is there a reason why the cost right now for MSC is so good compared to other cruise lines? Those are all fair questions, and I will say this, MSC is required to submit paperwork in a report saying, here's how we're going to fix these things. This is our action plan, and they will take this seriously. The CDC will come back and inspect again. That score will be better next time. Could this be just a situation where the crew wasn't ready? You know, the ship is repositioning. Maybe you don't think we're going to get a visit from the CDC when we get to Port Canaveral. Is it a management? Is it bad training? Why? Is it growing too fast? Why is this score 67? 83, 77, 72 maybe? I mean, it would still be bad, below the threshold, but 67, guys, 67 is not good. 67 is not good. What is going on? What do you think the reasoning is here, of course? And do you think that the CDC should follow up in a couple of weeks? Do you think if it's not better that they say, okay, this ship is not going anywhere, you're going to clean up this ship? Pun intended. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Cruise news story number 2, Royal Caribbean. This is unbelievable what is happening with Royal Caribbean every 3 or 4 days. We shared this story. Matter of fact, I'm about to just say they did it again, and that's going to be the story because we're sharing the same information, it seems like, all the time. Here it is. Royal Caribbean oversells yet again another cruise. It's happened like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks. This time it's the Allure of the Seas, which has happened before last week. The April 30th selling was oversold. Now it's the May 14th selling has been oversold, and you will never guess. Not in a million years. If I gave you 1,000 guesses, you would never ever guess why this selling was oversold. Royal Caribbean communicated why it was oversold with passengers, and here is what they said. We're sorry to inform you that due to an unexpected inventory error, your scheduled Allure of the Seas May 14th, 2023 selling is currently oversold. We've heard that before. Literally, just plug in the date. Literally, the wording. They took out the April 30th date, and they said May 14th. That's all they did. Unexpected inventory error. This thing is unexplainable more than aliens. And there's a current conversation around terrestrial life and do aliens exist? Are they out there? Are we alone? Is there someone else out there? And people talk back and forth and no one knows what's going on, right? We see the UFO footage. Oh, maybe they're there, maybe they're not there. This thing is just as unexplainable. Unexpected inventory error. Where is this error coming from? In Royal Caribbean, you had an unbelievable Q1 for 2023. You raised your target. You raised all your numbers for the year. Your stock price went up exponentially. The demand is there. You just reported unbelievable numbers. Can we hire someone? Can we hire someone to fix, to identify, to scope, to get an action plan about this unexpected inventory error? It's affecting your passengers. I've had phone calls today. Royal Caribbean passengers that are selling this summer saying, should I move my cruise? Should I worry? That answer is no. I told all of them no. No, the cruise that you have planned and the cruise that you have paid for is the cruise that you are going on. We're going to get you on the ship. But it is creating some anxiety with your clientele. It seriously is. This is not made up. I had several people reach out to me today. You're going to cruise. Royal Caribbean's doing everything they can. They say, if you want to stay on the selling, that's fine, stay. If you want your money back, we'll give you your money back. Or you can go on the Voyager of the Seas. I think it is this time. It changes every single time. We'll put you on the Voyager of the Seas. We'll give you 100% of your money back and $300. That's a good deal. But it's getting old. Unexpected. They need to change that. The next time this happens, we're doing this on this show at least. We're not going to call it an unexpected inventory error. I think we're just going to call it the expected. The expected inventory error is what did it, okay? Because it's happening so much, it's not unexpected. Islanders, what do you think about this? This is multiple times. Would you worry about your cruise this summer if you had or have a Royal Caribbean cruise planned? Let us know. And I cannot wait to share this last story of the day. This is awesome right here. Norwegian, bringing back for the 4th consecutive year their Giving Joy campaign, honoring teachers and giving all of us an opportunity to nominate a teacher and show some love to those teachers who teach our youth and our kids and invest in our communities every single day. Some of you know this story, some of you don't know the story. I will share it in just a second. Let me share the news with you first. Norwegian Cruise Line announces 20 lucky recipients will be able to cruise on one of the first sailings, if not the inaugural sailing of the Norwegian Viva, the second ship in the Norwegian Prima class. This year, 20 teachers, and they're going to have a +1. I was a +1 last year. I'll tell you about it in a second. Across the United States and Canada, will be able to go on a 7-day cruise, of course, for two. It was a 4-day cruise last year. They gave 100 recipients. They honored 100 people this year. 7-day cruise, 20 people, 20 teachers with their plus ones. Here is what David Herrera said, who is NCL's president. We are proud to once again launch our Giving Joy campaign and to continue to celebrate the very important role teachers play in our community and for our youth, as well as to reinforce the connection between travel and education. Starting now, May 8th through June 9th, we have about a month here. Norwegian is encouraging that all of us nominate a teacher that we know and love. You could nominate your spouse, you could nominate your brother, your sister. A student could nominate a teacher, but it's a nomination process. You have to be nominated to be in the competition. Then it's a voting contest. You go and vote, and it takes like 3 minutes to vote, if that. And these top 20 teachers will receive this free cruise. To date, Norwegian has given over 230 educators a free cruise and donated over $350,000 to local schools. Of course, many of you who have followed us for a while know that Amanda was one of Norwegian's Giving Joy teachers last year. It was an unbelievable trip on the Prima. We sailed out of Galveston for 4 days. And Norwegian was so gracious and so professional and spoiled these teachers. We have a lot of teachers. Usnavi, Michelle, I'm talking about you. Mike is going to nominate you. And listen, there's 20 spots on this cruise, and we're going to have at least one Islander who is an educator is going to be on this Norwegian Viva 7-day sailing. Let's do it. Let's do it. If you know a teacher, I'm going to put the link to Norwegian's Giving Joy program. I think it's norwegiangivingjoy.com is what it is. I'll put the link there. Nominate the teacher. Let's vote and make sure that one of our fellow Islanders who's an educator is on this ship and will pay nothing to get there, to cruise, all of it. Let's do it, Islanders. Who are you nominating? Let us know so we can get the word out. Awesome work here from Norwegian. Very commendable and respectable. And of course, we're excited about it. Islanders, we hope you enjoyed the show today. If so, please give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to this awesome community, I invite you to subscribe. Ring the bell to receive notifications when we upload new content. We can't wait to see your thoughts in the comment section below, your activity and actions on Facebook. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow right here on Island Time.